we've been talking about compassion and, you know, how self-centeredness blocks our compassion. And then we talked about how attachment was related to self-centeredness and how anger was related to attachment. Okay, and so now we talk about the three poisons, you know, anger, attachment, and confusion. So I thought today I would talk about confusion and how it relates to self-centeredness. Okay, so here by confusion, what I mean is kind of not being aware of our situation in cyclic existence, and so not being aware of the meaning and purpose in our life, not being aware of what actually causes our misery, you know, confusion about what the path is out of our suffering, and what the final state we want to achieve is. Okay, so just a lot of spiritual confusion, you know, spiritual mishmash, yeah. And so this can sometimes just be basic confusion, and it can also include a lot of wrong views too, yeah, which you know, which don't correctly understand what our situation is, what the causes are, what the path is, where we want to go. And so to remedy this confusion, the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths, which form the basic structure of the Buddha Dharma. And so he started off describing our present experience. Yeah, and so he talked about the unsatisfactory nature of our lives, you know, the fact that we just have a body that gets born and old and sick and dies, and we don't get what we want and can't and get what we don't want and lose what we like and all these kinds of things, okay? So, and then he talks about what causes it, which is the ignorance, anger, and attachment. And so these first two things, when we start practicing, we spend a lot of time on. And most people go, actually, I don't want to talk about suffering and its causes. I have too much suffering as it is. I want light and love and bliss, you know? And I don't want to have to look at what my situation is. I don't want to have to look at my mind and the mess in it. I just want, you know, light and love and bliss and feel good, yeah? And of course, you know, the Buddhist path is designed to help us feel good. But the only way we're going to get there is by looking at our present situation, not by escaping from looking at it. So we have to be able to look at what our situation is very clearly and honestly, and see how the defilements in our own mind are its causes. You know, because until we do that, there's no way to get genuine light, love, and bliss. You know, the light, love, and bliss we get otherwise, you know, you take drugs, you have a drink, you know, you go to a party, you do this and that, you know. But that, we've been doing a lot of that, and that hasn't brought us permanent happiness, has it? You know, everything we've done so far in an attempt to be forever happy has not brought that about. Yeah, we're still here. So that's why the Buddha's saying, you know, look at what your situation really is. Look at what really causes it. And instead of, you know, blaming outside for your misery, and instead of seeking people and situations and so forth outside as a remedy, you know, see that it all comes from inside. Yeah, and that if we really want to have happiness, we need to do something about our own ignorance, anger, and attachment. Yeah, and so for that reason, then he taught the path. And so the path is one that counteracts the ignorance, anger, and attachment. So the Buddha taught us how to develop wisdom. Okay, he taught us how to develop love and compassion. He taught us how to develop all the different virtuous qualities that we need to complete the path. And then from doing that, we arrive at the goal, which is Nirvana, yeah, which is not a perfume. No, wait a minute. Samsara was the perfume, Nirvana was the rock band. Okay, yeah. So Nirvana's not a rock band and Samsara is not a perfume. Okay. Yeah. But Nirvana's a state of mind, you know, and we actualize that state of mind through internal mental transformation. Yeah. Through freeing our mind from craving and clinging and belligerence and grudges and all of that, okay? And so for that reason, we take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha to show us the path out of that mess and to keep reminding us of what the real causes are so that we keep coming back to what the actual path is. Yeah, because otherwise it's so easy just to get distracted from things, yeah, or to get involved in practicing a path that's not going to bring about the happiness we want, but, you know, brings about the temporary light, love, and bliss, and then leaves us flat afterwards. Okay, so we have to overcome our self-centeredness a little bit to get rid of this confusion, because our self-centeredness keeps us kind of stuck in doing the same things again and again and again. It's kind of, our misery's kind of comfortable in a way. Yeah, you know, we know, okay, this isn't so great, that isn't so great, but it's kind of familiar and change is kind of scary. Yeah. Somebody who was depressed once told me that there's something very consoling about being depressed in that you know what tomorrow is going to be like. And I thought, wow, oh my goodness, you know, that we choose that kind of security of knowing what tomorrow is going to be like, and because the thought of changing is too intimidating. And I thought, how sad, you know. So we really need some courage and to get rid of this self-centered thought and how it blocks us, you know, so that we can actually determine what the path is, learn how to follow it, and then practice it. And then but people in Nirvana don't go around going,